People run for many different reasons. However, Meaghan Langlois' motivations are unique. She runs for herself, for others, but she also runs because she has to.
I grew up in Easton, an Irish Catholic upbringing with a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles and holidays. And, my parents did a great job with us. They had us in sports, they had us in friends, social circles, they always had us in church. They had plenty of things that you would think would bring up a good, untroubled child. But I don't know, I just always had trouble being comfortable in my own skin. And once I found a way to eliminate that, that's when my life kind of went in a different direction.
That direction was not a good one. Meaghan started drinking and smoking marijuana at an extremely young age. Before long, it turned into a serious problem.
I ended up in my first adolescent detox unit when I was 13 years old. And I can remember at 13 years old being in that adolescent unit, telling the doctors as they tried to treat me and tell me that I was on a dangerous path, that the only reason I was there is because my parents wouldn't leave me alone. So there wasn't anything in there that I really learned or took to heart or listened to. It was more like, I was 13, I already knew everything I needed to know. Thank you for your time, but I'm gonna leave now.
As Meaghan grew older, she began a long spiral of an ever-increasing drug addiction that took her all over the country, and eventually left her hooked on heroin, desperate and adrift.
I was in a place in my life where I was completely hopeless. I was suicidal. I was done trying to get sober. And that's when my family stepped in and kind of brought my bottom back up to me again. They had me sectioned, which is Section 35. So I went to a locked facility for 30 days. And that's really where things changed.
Meaghan came out clean, but uncertain if she could stay sober. Her father saw a news report on a local group for recovering addicts called the Boston Bulldogs Running Club and suggested she give it a try.
And I was like, but Dad, why would I do that? I'm not a runner. I smoke cigarettes. I have no business being a part of a running club. And for whatever reason at that point in my life, I really had nothing else going on. So I agreed to call, and it truly was because I just had nothing else to lose. I was like, this can't hurt. So I reached out to the founder, Coach Mike Ferrullo, and I thought he was going to ask me all these questions about why I had any business being part of a running club, how fast I ran, what races I'm doing, and he didn't ask me any of those things. All he asked me was, how did you hear about us? And I told him my dad saw the story, and he said, great, why don't you just show up? And those 3 words literally transformed the rest of my life. You feel good running, you're sleeping better, you're making better choices in what you eat, and now you're achieving these goals and you're running further, and the confidence really just helped me a lot. It wasn't something that I didn't realize how much I lacked it in my life, but it was through running that it showed me I could get it back. Come on in.
Fast forward 10 years, both Meaghan and the Boston Bulldogs are sober and thriving. She is a marathon veteran who works full-time for the club, helping others as well as herself.
Over the last 10 years, it's been a phenomenal experience of how many lives that the Bulldogs have touched.
Here we go, guys. Yeah, let's have a good run.
Obviously, our mission is very serious, where people are struggling either from addiction or that they've been impacted by addiction in some way. But we really have to have fun in what we do, because life is about having fun, and that's where a lot of bonds are formed, and it just becomes more attractive to be a part of.
Ready? 1, 2, 3! Yay!
I'm a mom now, I'm a wife now, which are 2 very new roles for me that I'm still learning a lot about. But I am realizing that every time I try to write my own story, God has a different one.
Go, Charlie, go! Go, go!
With running and the Bulldogs making literally every part of her life better, Meaghan is now the leader of the club's Boston Marathon team, a perfect representation of all they have accomplished together.
From Hopkinton to Boston is just one big party. And I always tell people, and I realize now that I've run a few of them, the training is the hard part. The marathon itself is a celebration to all the work we've put in. So it's just one big party where people are cheering your name, and there's family around, and there's familiar faces, and whether it's rain or shine, there are people out there to support you, and it is just a phenomenal experience. And It's just as exciting every time I run it.
1, 2, 3, Bulldogs!
As dark and as troubled as my past was, I wouldn't change it. And the reason for that is because I would never ever be in the place that I am today if I hadn't gone through everything that I went through before. And now that I'm in a place where I can couple it with a mission that literally impacts and changes lives, running is even more important than it ever has been.
These amazing true stories are just a few examples of what inspires people to run the Boston Marathon. I'm Thomas Smith. Thank you for joining us, and I hope this helps you find your own marathon motivation.